Welcome to Berdon eCast. I'm MAURY GOLBERT, tax partner here at Berdon LLP. With me today is my fellow tax partner and colleague, Scott DITMAN. Scott, thanks for being here.
Thank you, MAURY.
So the topic for today is estate and gift tax planning. Over the past few years, there's been tremendous volatility and dislocation in the economy, in the business environment. The real estate market's been crazy. And right along with that sort of volatility and craziness in the market has been this sort of schizoid estate and gift tax regime, where we started with a $600,000 exemption for gift and estate tax, then we went to a $1 million exemption for gift and estate tax, then the estate tax exemption was increasing, but the gift tax exemption wasn't, then there was no estate tax, and now we are where we are today. So, Scott, where are we today?
Let's take a look at what changes were made at the end of 2010, MAURY. The most important things that changed are the exemption has been increased up to $5 million beginning in 2011. The tax rates were decreased. The federal tax rates used to be 45% in 2009. Now in 2011 and 2012 they've been decreased to 35%. But one of the most important unexpected things that happened in the new law was that there was a reunification of the gift and estate tax rates. So now they've both been increased to $5 million. The gift exemption, as you said, from $1 million to $5 million. And what that does is it not only gives you the ability to make transfers at death up to $5 million tax-free, but you could even use that exemption during lifetime. Now, what the government did, once again though, is that they didn't make the new law permanent, and these decreased rates and increased exemptions are only in effect through the end of 2012. So it puts us in a situation where we have a real time-sensitive situation where we have to look at things, and these opportunities may only be short-term.
So pretty amazing that they not only put an exemption back in, but they made it bigger than it ever was, because there was a lot of talk about making the estate tax rates higher and making the exemptions smaller than they had been when there was none, because we're sort of in an environment where people are talking about higher taxes.
No, that's absolutely right. But again, since this change in the law has only been put in effect in 2 years, we have no idea what's going to happen. The government could abolish the estate tax, or in a worst case scenario, if they do nothing, what ends up happening, unfortunately again, is in 2013, we revert back to what the law was in 2001, which means exemptions for both gift and estate tax purposes drop down to $1 million and a federal estate and gift tax rate of 55%. So when you're operating in a total situation here of uncertainty, it becomes difficult to plan. But what we do know is we have this 2-year window where we can do some amazing things.
So traders often say, in the Wall Street world, volatility creates opportunities. So we have sort of a volatile environment here in the estate and gift tax planning, but I think we've been presented with some opportunities here. So Scott, how can we over the next couple of years find creative ways to leverage this sort of additional tax-free gift capacity with some of the things we have in place?
Well, let's take a look at an example, MAURY. Let's say we have an individual. Let's call him Frank. In 2007, Frank had real estate that was worth, say $250 million. Now, because of the recession and, and the bad economic events, let's say that the value of that real estate could realistically be valued at $150 million. So we have a depressed asset value. Interestingly enough, we also have a situation where interest rates are still at historic lows. That also creates opportunities. On top of that, remarkably, there have been talks about eliminating the ability to use discounts when gifts or sales and transfers are made of minority interests in businesses, family limited partnerships, LLCs, whatever. That was something that had been talked about, that the ability to use discounts on these minority interests was going to be eliminated. Unbelievably, they weren't touched. If you layer on top of that unique economic and tax situation, the fact that the gift exemption has been increased from $1 million to $5 million, you literally have what can be looked at as a once-in-a-life opportunity to transfer wealth. and grow it over a long, long period of time without any gift and estate taxes being paid on these amounts that were transferred.